Hello creatives! You're going to be in Illustrator on the iPad, and welcome to the 12 Designs of Christmas, my series throughout December leading up to Christmas Day. We're doing the last 12 decades, and today we're going to be doing the 80s. So I appropriately wore a retro Christmas sweater, and we're going to dive into Illustrator on the iPad and make a very retro Christmas neon sign. I thought that would be fun. If you guys like these videos and are enjoying learning a little bit more about art history, design history, and even typographical history, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's dive in. Alright, we are here in Illustrator. I have a 800 by 800 pixel artboard just to give us a basis because we are creating a neon sign. Back in the 80s, neon signs usually had a very distinct shape. You had lots of harsh lines and triangles and squares against curves, rounded shapes like that. So they were usually juxtaposed against each other. It's a hard word to say. They used a lot of drop shadows, fun colors, outer glows on their pieces, especially in graphic design. And they also had a lot of different types of fonts. So we just came off of the 70s where there were so many fonts, and then in the 80s we have fonts that are more sans serif based. So we have fonts like Baskerville, Bodoni. We also had fonts like Rubber Stamp and LCD, where it looked very, you know, those old like digital clocks where the numbers look like they're like separated rectangles, basically. That's what the numbers were for the time. Kind of like a font like that. And then we also have fonts like Chicago. So there is a lot in the 80s. So we're gonna dive in. We're gonna use some fun colors. Let's just get our shape down first. So I figured, since we're gonna be doing a Christmas neon sign, that it should be like Santa Claus in his sleigh kind of deal. I thought that would be really cool. There was also a lot of gradients used during this time. So let's start, as always, with some layers. We don't really need a background layer. However, in this era of graphic design, they also loved to take a shape, for instance like a circle, and chop it up into multiple shapes to make up the shape. I'll showcase that today. Let's start with the neon sign shape. I'm thinking, or should we do like a Santa's on vacation type of thing? I think that might be fun because this was the time period of like Miami Vice and all that stuff. Let's start with a triangle because they loved their triangles. Take off that fill color. For the stroke, I'm thinking we're gonna do a hot pink. They really liked the blues, the pinks, but make it really saturated and pop and contrasting each other with the yellows and the oranges and the red and stuff like that. So I think that's where we're gonna start. Let's start with our shape. I kind of want it rounded out slightly, but not too much. Round out our edges, make the stroke very big, and just for the sake of adding a glow to this, go to our object icon and create stroke outline. Select that, and it goes from a single stroke line to a shape. I'm going to put it on an angle because the 80s were all about expression. So lots of diagonals, a lot of juxtaposed shapes against each other. So I think that'd be really quite cool. So you have hot pink shape here, and now we need Santa's sleigh. So Santa's sleigh, it's gonna be a nice red. They didn't quite use like pure red. They kind of used a reddish orange during the time, or they gradated like bright reds with oranges or purples. I'm gonna do like the red orange color. Get our square shape tool here, and we're gonna have Santa kind of like reclining on his sleigh because, you know, he's on vacation. I'm gonna have some rounded edges with some, there we go. So we have the beginnings of his sleigh, and since this is Santa on vacation, I really kind of want to do classic sun gradation shape. I'm gonna put this on an angle. From a red orange, I think, should we do a dark red? From a red orange to a dark red? I think so. So let's do our gradient on here. Color gradient. Oh, even that kind of looks cool. Let's do the dark red. You can even make the dark red a bit more like dark pinkish, dark purple. Ooh, we can do a dark purple. That's more like it. And of course they had lots of like yellows and golds in here too. So we're gonna do that with the sleigh part of his sleigh, like the actual, like with the runners. All right, so the runners, let's pick a nice yellow here. So very appropriate neon yellow. I'm gonna gradate this from yellow to orange. Just because it's supposed to be like gold, right? It could look disconnected a little bit because a lot of the shapes during that time were kind of disconnected anyway. So now that we have our sleigh done, actually, do we? There we go, let's do that purple. Kind of looks more like a boot than a sleigh, doesn't it? There we go, we're gonna do like a shape like that. All right, and let's get Santa down just so that way we have all the players here. And he's gonna be wearing some sunglasses too, of course. He's gonna have a nice green shirt on because he's on vacation. Do a nice gradation right here. And he's gonna have some like dark navy shorts on, I think. Do a little gradation on his beard from white to orange. We'll do the hot pink, but also like I could also add another one in here and do like the hot pink in there. Go, and then we're gonna give him some fun sunglasses. It was one of those like icons that was just everywhere during this time. I think instead of doing black, I'll do like a tealy blue color. I'm gonna take these two shapes, I'm gonna shape build them apart, and we're gonna do a gradation here. Oh look, it kind of already knew what I wanted. Okay, so yeah, this is very 80s. There we go. That's very 80s. Also gonna give Santa some hair. So let's take this color here. We're gonna gradate it. Make a big sun in the background. Let's see, do I wanna make it this type of sun, or do I wanna make it a sun that's more yellow and orange and such? Probably more yellow and orange and such, right? Yeah, I think so. All right, let's gradate this down from a bright yellow to an orange to a red, probably down to the hot pink. I think might be good. And now we're gonna take some square shapes here. I'm gonna make them green just so I can see them. And lay them on the top, duplicate them down. There we go. Let's shut these other layers off just so I can see. Let's lock this triangular layer. And I'm gonna select all of these, tapping and dragging across the artboard. Make a compound path, just like so. I'm gonna pull these points in. Now we have our sun, and since this was made into a compound path, we can still change the gradient on it, because I want to change the angle of it. I don't want it at an angle, I kind of just want it straight up and down. And since we have everything else kind of taken away, let's take this shape here. Oh, it's locked. Let's unlock it. Let's take this shape here, duplicate it, send it behind, move it just ever so slightly, and then this is going to be a lighter pink, kind of like that color. So I'm going to select both of these shapes, go into the repeat icon over here, and I'm going to choose blend. And it'll create almost like a glowing effect. Release the blend. Let's do that one more time so that way we can fade it out to white. And just so that way it really looks like it's glowing. Select all three of these, blend. Now it really looks like it's glowing. And then what we can do on top of that is we can even go into our layers panel, select this one. I'm going to duplicate this one and put it on top. In the stacking order. Go into our layers panel and lock that one. Select all the others, blend it out, and then this one on top, which is locked, I'm going to unlock it, take it, and I'm going to put it right almost up to the edge of what we had just done. There we go, so it kind of makes it look like it's glowing. I could even make this much lighter, the lighter pink. Alright, so let's turn Santa back on and the sleigh back on, because he's just chilling here. I'm going to select Santa and his sleigh and move him a bit more over here. I'm going to downsize him a little bit, he's a bit too big. It's always good to like zoom out and zoom in to make sure that all your like proportions are correct and everything like that. Gotta give Santa his feet. He doesn't wear his boots on vacation. We're gonna give Santa a little bit of a tan, I think. And then I think the last thing I'm going to do is take a font here, and I'm just going to write the word, hiatus, because Santa's on vacation, he's on a hiatus, he deserves a break. So I'm going to go down here, I'm going to do small caps, and then for the fonts of this time period, They were kind of like really either retro or they were sans serif. So I think, let's see, what do they have for, I know I have Bedoni in here. Okay, here we go. These are fonts that are more like the chromium fonts or from reminiscent of the 70s style fonts that were still like hanging around in the 80s, especially this one, but we're not going to do that one. Oh, they also had stencil. Stencil fonts were also really big. I know Milka was much earlier. Export stencil is kind of like the LCD font that I explained earlier, where it kind of looks like the clock. Let's see what they have for sans serif fonts. I don't think Ditto came about at this time. I know Edwardian did, so let's see. I don't have Edwardian in there? You're kidding. Huh. Oh, here we go. Alkaline Bold. Oh my gosh, remember, okay, if you guys didn't see, I think it was my 60s video where Filmotype was like one of the prominent fonts. This is Filmotype. I think I want to do Alkaline Bold. Yeah, I think I want to do that one. All right, let's increase the size of it quite a bit. They're really into massive sizing of fonts here. And of course, everything's gonna be on an angle. Everything was on an angle during that time. So, slight angle and have it kind of coming out of Santa a little bit. So let's take this, drag this layer underneath Santa, and we're gonna take that teal color that we had before. They kind of always had their fonts look like they have like an inner glow to them. So since we can't do inner glow in Illustrator, I can do a duplication. Soft light, hard light, screen. Ooh, let's do screen. Okay, we're gonna do a screen blend mode. And then I'm just gonna decrease the size of this font slightly, an outline of the text. And I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna fix everything. There we go. So, what do you guys think? I think this came out really good and appropriate for a neon sign. I hope you all enjoyed this video and learned a little bit more about design in the 80s. And I will see you all in my next video for the 90s. I think the 90s is going to be definitely interesting. See you soon, creatives.